Welcome back. So, for our beings and non-beings alike, I am your host, Wolfie LeMay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. My co-host and partner in crime is...
Howdy, howdy. I am Vito the Skeleton, and we are here with the
Bonepaw Podcast. Yeah, and sorry for some latenesses. We're trying to do this every Friday, or at least this version of Earth's Friday. We got a few calls from the higher up to check out a different verse, which we'll be discussing in this one. But we got to finish off Kirby first.
Let's just say we have to do a bit of cleanup because of an AU was starting to mess with the main timeline, and that became
problem, havoc, hell.
Anyway, so don't worry. We think we figured it out, but here's hoping that doesn't make a return. Anyway,
it might. They always do.
Let's return
to something wholesome and happy and fluffy.
Yes, to
Kirby. Yeah. Particularly, ironically, we're going to talk about Mennonite DDD and Bandana Waddle Dee.
So yes,
or Bandy.
This last Kirby episode will not contain any Kirbys whatsoever.
Unless you believe the theory that Mennonite is secretly a Kirby.
Yes, he is part of the
Kirby race.
The Kerbo squad.
Again, I personally believe Mennonite he is saying.
Oh yeah.
Little stowaways.
You always keep a pocket Kirby just in case.
But as I was saying, Mennonite, for me, I believe he is the same species as Kirby. So he is related to Void Termina. The difference is, I think it depends on how much negative and positive they get. So, like, Mennonite may have been a positive being that just got yeeted to the most negative planet out there. Does he form like locusts? And for those that don't know, grasshopper and locusts are technically the same. It depends on conditions. You don't want locusts.
So, basically, while Kirby was on Dreamland, just relaxing, chilling.
Eat those apples.
Eating the magical apples. Mennonite was in Gotham. And that's why he is now...
Batman.
He's kind of Batman.
He hates wizards. Does Batman hate magical beings?
Batman does not have a good relationship with magic. But we can talk about Batman another episode because, oh boy...
That's an episode he wants to talk about a lot of.
Yeah, because him and his variants get on my nerves. But going on. You see, Mennonite is an interesting character because compared to Kirby, he has a very similar design. And they make it a habit of showing that Mennonite is very conscious about his face. And the fact that we all know that he has a Kirby face under his mask.
Unless you talk from the novels, which they'll be like, oh, he has a face?
Yeah, the novels like to pretend that no one has ever seen his face. Even Kirby refers to him like he hasn't seen his face.
Which is interesting, because he probably has on so many occasions. But how many times Kirby has beaten Mennonite? Heck, it was such a big reveal the first time, because I remember playing on the DS when, like, Superstar Ultra, the remake of the original Superstar, was made, and all of a sudden it's just like, I'm fighting Mennonite. Why are we on the ship? Why are you doing these things? Hold on, are you just a blue Kirby? Why are you leaving? I have answers. Give me them.
So, this leads us to our conversation about Kirby and, technically speaking, what Kirby is. Now, we know that Meta Knight was affected by
Void Termina and dark matter and everything.
And we know, based on certain games, that Void Termina and just the Void in general is connected to Kirby. So
it's the reason it branches off between, like, dark matter and Kirby always had like this yin and yang thing, and basically Void Termina was like, we are one. It's literally the fun. Oh, well, this is hilarious. I am technically in the weirdest family reunion ever. It is. It's equivalent of finding out some animals are related to dolphins and whales that are land animals. Yeah, there's some that exist. We'll let you look that up.
So we're kind of using Meta Knight as a sort of bridge, a linchpin between these characters.
Kinda is.
Well, his existence shows us that the Kerbo can be, in fact, violent if he chooses.
Yeah, we ain't talking about good old Galactonite slash Morphonite slash Pain.
Onwards to the King DDD.
Thank you.
So, so with that being said, we're gonna have a little fun segment for all of you at home. So, I'm gonna take a quick nap, and I know this is gonna sound weird, but humor me on this one. And in the meantime, Wolfie, please introduce our guest.
As we introduce the magnificent, great, and mighty King DDD.
You forgot all powerful.
Nah.
Well, howdy. I am the great and powerful King DDD.
And yet you lose to a pink puffball.
He cheats. No one can tell me otherwise.
Sure. Sure.
Well, you try taking on a being that you try to throw things at him. Next thing you know, he becomes the thing you threw at him.
I'll give you credit on that, yes.
Well, at least I have my mighty kingdom to prove how much of a great king I am. Now, why am I here? A magic skeleton showed up and just dragged me here.
We have some fun questions to ask about you.
Oh, my favorite subject.
So, first and foremost, how is it to rule over the land of Dreamland?
Well, it's tricky. You see, some days I wake up and I'm not really in the mood to rule some days, but that's a story for another time. There was this one time where I was really kind of like obsessed with food, but then Kirby showed up and kind of ruined my day on that one. But a lot of it is just going through my subjects and making sure they're doing the job that they gotta do. Making sure Chef Kawasaki is making my food.
That's pretty much it, isn't it?
There's more. If anyone's seen Bandana, I feel like he should have my itinerary.
Well, Bandana's enjoying a good long rest in the lounge. He has literally a whole bunch of apple juice boxes around him. Guys, living the high life.
Cute. Yeah. He's a good little Waddle Dee. Now, so what exactly you want to know about this mighty penguin?
Well, a good question is do you have any secret histories of Dreamland you want to share? Or better yet, things that the audience may not know about the mighty king?
Ah, yes. Okay. So, a long time ago, before I was the king, okay? You see, when I was born, Popstar knew light for the very first time. And according to the history that's inside my book, but now, I was the one that brought peace throughout all of Dreamland, right up until Kirby showed up. Okay. Now, if you ask anyone else in the Resident of Dreamland, they think it's the opposite, but I guarantee you, I was keeping peace in Dreamland prior to Kirby's arrival.
I mean, you do have that whole Star Rod thing of trying to get Nightmare to not do his thing. So there is some credibility. Until Nightmare decided to escape the fountain, and then Kirby had to deal with that too.
Now, to be fair, that wouldn't have been a problem if Kirby let me do what I wanted to do.
And to be fair, you did launch Kirby into defeating Nightmare.
Yes. Yes, I did. And I'll do it again.
You just want to launch the pink puffball.
Any chance I get.
Well, you did toss him out of a cannon.
He had it coming. But as far as hidden lore about my species, well, it may surprise, I'm based on a real penguin.
Ah, yes, some may know this. It's known as a fairy penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Although being on Popstar, particularly in the land of Dreamland, you're not fairy size.
Of course not. I gotta be king after all. And king requires you to be a big penguin. Just like my daddy taught me.
And was your dad a penguin too? Or do you not want to share that detail?
I'll miss you, daddy.
Got it, not sharing that detail.
Anyway, so, any more questions?
How does it feel to be possessed constantly on a weekly basis?
It's weird to have a stomach mouth, but you oddly get used to it some days. But, okay, alright. Keep this from Meta Knight. I kinda like fighting him when I'm like that. Really brings out the edge in his sword.
You get to truly see the magnificent knight in action.
I will say after the third time I was a bit annoyed. I will admit that. Although that one time I became very buff, I kinda want that form back.
Yeah. There are some people who really do want that form back, and others who are just like, we like you the way you are.
Yeah, I mean, I like me the way I am too, but apparently amongst the fellow Waddle Dees, they were calling me Buff DDD.
You were very buff.
And
you did break your castle floor by literally laying down the fist.
yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah, fun.
I miss my pecs.
You'll get them back one day, maybe. They are constantly changing your design. You never know. King's getting a little tired.
Nah, that was me. Did say I would take a little nap.
So I guess this is goodbye to the great king?
Well, okay. I guess that wraps up my segment. So, where's the snack bar again?
Down the hall. To the right.
Thank you. Quite a chatterbox on that one.
Yes.
Alright, so, we're bringing in the Waddles or we're bringing in the Meta?
Probably the Waddles after that.
Got it. Alright. So, onward to our next guest of the hour.
Bandana Waddle Dee.
Hi, here.
The number one star out of DDD's whole Waddle Dee army. How does it feel?
Well, it feels odd, to be honest. Because on the one hand, I like that the other Waddle Dees are looking up to me. On the other hand, it feels weird when I don't tell them what to do and they just stare at me.
A lot of power there, huh?
Well, it's only the power the king gives me.
So, we heard you had an interesting training regimen using apple juice.
Yes.
Has it been working out?
Well, I can finally keep up with Kirby.
So it seems like it's doing you very well then.
Mm-hmm. So much so that I'm starting to become the default player too. But don't tell the king that. He gets a little personal when he doesn't feel like he's being represented.
He's represented enough, too, if you ask me.
But it feels good to be player 2. And unlike some plumbers, I feel pretty okay with my status. I mean, going from a regular enemy to kind of Kirby's best friend is a big jump, you know?
It is. Although there is one question I'm pretty sure your diehard fans wanting to know. Will you ever join the Smash Brothers roster?
Well, I never did get my letter. But that's alright. As, well, someone once told me, I have to guard Dreamland while everyone's off having a party. The greatest honor. Besides, I have my own solo adventures that hopefully you all get to see one day.
I hope so too. They sound like they're going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. I got a spear.
We know. In fact, you have taken over the role of the spear attack.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it like to use the spear?
Pointy. Very pointy. I had to learn not to touch the pointy.
And also probably be careful of your friends not touching it either, huh?
For now.
Sound like somebody's on a list.
Look, I'm not gonna name any names, but if I get offered another gem apple, I'm not sure how I'm gonna react to this.
Well, there is a new remake coming, so you might get a chance. You might get that chance.
I do not wish to buy any more apples.
Despite that being your motto.
Yes, but there's only so much I can afford.
Yeah, they are very pricey.
Like, too pricey. It'd be okay if you just brought the price down just a little bit.
Oh, you have issues with gem apples. We have issues with eggs over here.
Seriously, it's like every time I go to his booth, I like try to talk to him. He's like, "Hi, Magalore, how are you doing this fine day?" He just turns to me, just on default, and responds with, "Buy my apples." And I just sit there going, "I just wanted to know how your day was." One day. Anyway, thank you for all the apple juice.
You're welcome. I guess one last question is how is it being friends with Kirby?
Terrifying.
The simplest of words.
Some days we have picnics and just chill on Dreamland. Other days I have to convince him not to eat people.
Or jump through a wormhole. Other dimension travels.
It's the eating people that I worry about.
Okay. At least you get good adventures.
Yeah. Again, there were a few times where Kirby was very interested in certain items. He was like going through Dreamland looking for like a seed that he was trying to look for. And then he was interrogating some members of Dreamland, and then he threatened to eat them. Which was very weird to witness.
Good cop, bad cop routine. Without the good cop.
I guess I'm a good cop.
You're a really good boy.
Yay! Fetch me my badge.
Oh, I believe that's all the questions we have for you, so you can invite Mennonite over so we can do the interview with them.
Awesome. Alright, I will see you later. There you are. Where's my itinerary? Here, I guess, Your Majesty. By the way, have you seen Meta Knight? I don't know where he is. I don't know how those two get along.
You find some surprising things.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess we only really have one person left on the list.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to introduce him, or should I?
I think it's your turn to introduce a guest.
Okay. Alright, next up to the stage on answering our questions is the mysterious Meta Knight. Where is he?
Look up.
Ah!
What did I tell you? You always look up at a 45-degree angle, because guess who hides there?
When did he get in here?
He's probably been here the whole time.
Is he asleep? I'm gonna poke him. Give me a second.
You probably shouldn't do that.
I'm gonna poke him.
I'll get the med kit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna need a med kit.
You're gonna need a med kit!
He's not responding, so I need to know what's happening with him.
I'm getting the med kit.
Fine. Do not poke me. Ah! Why aren't you saying anything? It's part of my charm. Please, come down. Okay.
I got the kit.
Hello.
Hello there. So you are the mysterious Meta Knight.
Yes, I am Meta Knight.
Now, we have heard a lot about the Meta Knight. First of all, you actually have a ship known as the Hellbird. How is it basically flying that thing?
It's a very complex machine. That's why I have a crew of my loyal Meta Knights that know how to operate it.
They still need a better name change than actually being your name. I know it's an honor thing and all that, but that gets a little confusing, to be honest.
Well, you convince a tiny, cute sailor not to call himself a Meta Knight. Exactly. One started calling themselves that, and then next thing you know, it's all of them. And I can't stop it.
Well, from some of your tales, you seem to mingle in with a high, wealthy crowd. So, what is that like?
I mostly do it because they have the better jobs offer for helping around. Although I would like it if I didn't get swarmed by swooning noble women.
Oh.
Yes, I've had my fair share of princesses trying to convince me to take off my mask.
Now, in some realms, they seem to not know what your face is like. But we have seen it before.
You have? When? When was this? Who told you?
Now, you don't have to be on guard of that. Trust me, we've seen a lot of hidden secrets before. And it's not just towards you. It's towards a lot of new residents here. One of the perks of having a invite system, so to speak. But in the question range,
Yes.
how does it feel to share a face similar to your greatest friend? And even your greatest rival?
Well, it's an interesting experience. Because on the one hand, I use my mask and its angular features to appear more menacing. But on the other hand, it feels nice sometimes when I can wind down and take off the mask ever so often. Now, as far as how it feels to share a face with Kirby, well, it's one of those things where Kirby kind of gets excited when he sees my face, although he gets a little too poke happy.
The whole looking into a mirror, I can't believe I found another situation.
Yes, and then I have to explain to him that I am not a mirror.
Well, that kind of happens when you have one that shares a lot of joyous wonders of a child, despite not being a child. Still tired of all those arguments. Really am. But continuing on down with the question list.
If you can hold a sword, you are an adult.
Okay, that is something. But continuing on down the question list. How do you feel towards, say, DDD in, well, any type of way? Is there a good friendship, or is it something more?
I see you wish to know the nature of my relationship with King DDD.
Yeah. We all know it started as you being one of his trusted friends to hold a piece of the Star Rod. Has it blossomed any further, or are you just two good friends? You are sworn partners, after all. Is there more definition to the partner part?
I see what you're implying, and to that I say, we are close, that he trusts me enough with certain things as I trust him. But if I had to give confirmation, we are roommates.
Okay. So we're gonna have fun guessing which versions of roommates that is.
That is for you to decide, not me.
Alright then.
And I think you should have asked him that. He has the louder mouth after all.
True, but it's always the ones that keep the secret closer tells you the truth by their actions.
I am trying to intimidate you with my stare. Is it working?
I had a crush on you when I was a kid.
Oh.
This is cute.
Hey now, I may be in the background, but I am still in the room, missy.
Ah, yes, I am sworn in love with a fire skull.
Yep.
Although you really should come out more clearly that you are a half skeleton, half fire slime.
That's sure. Yes, I am part slime. It allows me to, shapeshift whenever I need.
Just ever so slightly.
Yep.
Mr. I don't have a lot of magic, but boy, I'm a good tech support.
What can I say? I understand tech more than I understand magic runes. Hey now, isn't this my interview? True. Sorry, I had to step in. Now, any more questions for me?
Well, how do you feel about the upcoming remake for Your Guys Meeting Magalore, so to speak? The fans will now know more about that journey, including a different side of Magalore. We know you have an interesting uh, hatred, is the word, technically speaking, towards wizards. Uh oh.
My hatred stems from a very deep place. You do not know the pain of being frozen, as a wizard taunts you, knowing full well that if you could just get close enough, his laughter will end.
I think I know which wizard that was. Well, that's the last question, and we probably should not anger the great knight over here.
I am not angry. I simply am recalling the time I swore vengeance on all magic.
Yeah, not angry at all.
Although, if I hope we have a decline on selling apples this time. I swear he harassed all of Dreamland.
He did try to fund a theme park, which you do get a chance to visit.
Yes.
Magalore Land.
Theme parks aside, you shouldn't be harassing people to buy your items.
True. He is trying to make a sale, though. He's trying to be honest, as annoying as this. Well, that's definitely it, so... Okay. I have to. I can't end it up there.
Yes.
Is the cape a cape and wings, or is it just a cape and you have wings hiding under it? I have gone back and forth with many fans about this. So much so that I might have to re-trim my claws again.
Oh, you wish to know about my wings?
Yes. The amount of argument from the fan base of you have wings to it is just your cape is ridiculous.
Okay. Then I will answer your question by saying yes.
And of course he does the goddamn thing. I love the cape. I really do. But he has wings, right? We all saw it.
I don't know. He just answered your question and peaced out.
Yes, but he did the freaking teleport piece out. Yeah, the reason we can't go super far into the Kirby verse as of lately is due to the remake. Worlds get changed around and shift. It seems like the new upcoming thing is being more canon. So as fun as that is, it's a pain. At least we got them to do a small interview.
And when it comes to worlds being formed, it's best to wait till they're fully formed before investigating. Any poking around while it's still developing may alter a few things.
Phew, sometimes it changed the whole world entirely.
I
guess we have to talk about our recent trip.
Yeah, let's talk about our recent trip. Well, as we mentioned earlier, we took a trip down in AU that was a little too clutching on to the timeline.
Too clutching on? It practically didn't know what timeline it was in. It was so old that it thought it was new. Yet it technically is new. But you're using an older IP. And an IP I grew up with, too.
Yes, we were delving in investigating Velma.
You know, the reason they wouldn't call it Scooby-Doo is not just because they got rid of the dog. They knew it was a train wreck.
Yes, and that's also why we were investigating. We saw a Scooby-Doo property without a dog, and we were questioning if this was an AU or just, well...
It's trying to leech off of a verse. It does happen. They like to be called spawn pups due to the fact that they are kind of spawning off of a property. But the problem is that there is no core host. So there is no nups for it to focus on. And thus end up breaking.
And the ones that don't break or form their own verse become, well, their own verse.
So It's interesting to see it be made, but it's also hell to have to document it.
Yep.
And we're on the document slash fix problems team.
Yeah.
Comes with the
Well,
territory when you did that as your freaking final test.
yeah, we did have to prune a few things. But I digress. Let's go more into the kind of offshoot AU that is Velma.
You want to lead this one?
Sure. Velma's core issue has nothing to do with actually the characters. It has a lot to do with the fact that it's not sure what type of story it wants to be.
Is it a mystery story? Is it a teen drama? Who knows? Who cares at this point?
Or is it a comedy?
It kind of sucks with the comedy part.
But there's no commitment to one type of storytelling, which
Or a joke.
Wolfie is taking it very personal that the Scooby-Doo did not do the haha.
I'm sorry. I literally can spawn 5 different versions better and still get rid of Scooby-Doo. It was just a shocking thing. It's not hard. They had a good point. We can keep the bones out of the story. Velma's mother still be missing. We could fix something out of that. You want to have her mind control and tied to, like, oh, the big killer is related to Fred? That's still a good thing. You want Daphne's parents to be missing? Sure. You know how you do that all right there in a nice, finite, good little thing? Fred's mother could still be the thing, the main villain, because spoilers, who cares at this point? Because somebody's going to complain about it. We know it. But Fred's mother can still be, I am the villain, ha. And then just have her hypnotize Daphne's parents, which she feels weird about because it's like, yeah, I wanted to meet them, but now I kind of realize I've gone most of my life without knowing who you are. And the last you saw of me, I was not even able to walk yet.
Before we get too heavy into rewriting the tale, going back to the primary issue of Velma. Velma's primary issue comes from the fact that she and kind of a lot of the cast don't really take agency in what is happening in the story. I mean, for a show about a killer chopping people's brains out, there's little focus on, well, who's actually the killer.
So little focus on that you know who the killer is when they start giving someone a weird amount of screen time. Yes, I'm still problematic with that.
Well, but this is where alternate universes kind of become both a good and bad thing. An alternate universe from a main timeline can, in fact, blossom into a wonderful story.
I mean, if you need a good example of that, Undertale's a great one. It was literally the idea spawned off of a ROM hack of Earthbound. The creator, Toby Fox, did so much detail and prepping and everything that it becomes this new thing. And then the fan base got his hands on it, and boys, there's so many worlds.
Oh yeah, that didn't become a branch. That was just tree after tree after tree.
That was practically a bush and a half.
Yep.
And then it became a forest of bushes.
But not all AUs are bad, which is why I will definitely say, as Velma is a poorly written show, it is not what you should point to and say, this is why we can't change things.
In fact, as bad as it does kind of one positive. I've seen a lot of people try to rewrite this story. And sure, a lot of them go with, I'm not going to follow what the show give us, but if you try to make what the show gives you work, it could have worked. Because you have a mystery. You just got to follow the mystery. And it's clearly, obviously, the writers are not used to mysteries. Because if you were used to mysteries, you would know what to do.
Now, with that being said, we do hope that we encourage you to take what Velma did wrong and try to do it right in your own tales. We do not encourage our viewers to go and watch Velma due to the fact of we do not endorse sexualizing minors.
Yeah, 15-year-olds showering in your first episode and then a couple episodes later before your finale is not a good idea. Also, save some money and just watch a bunch of reviews. A lot of them are very detailed. Give those reviewers the credit. Give them some muns, love, attention, affection. Subscribe and like to their videos.
But with that being said, we do hope that Velma warns you as a cautionary tale on what happens when you take something pre existing and try your best to change it in a way where you yourself don't recognize your work.
And also, don't overly complain about the audience. Yeah, there's a famous saying like the audience doesn't know what they want, or the customer doesn't know what they want, but sometimes they do. It's a reason why a lot of people gone back to finding joy in wholesome stuff instead of edgy. There was a time we used to be edgy teenagers, and now we kind of miss the days of, hey, I just want to wrap myself in a fluffy blanket and enjoy a children's cartoon without being judged.
Everybody should watch Bluey. We endorse Bluey. We encourage everyone when you have a chance, watch a few episodes. Feels
If
good.
you can find the original Australian ones, you find certain scenes are added. So yeah.
Now, with that being said, there is one thing we will leave this episode on.
A story?
A small story. Now, I will give credit where credit is due. The story is not mine. It's a story that I heard from a Mr. Freeman. And it goes like this. There was a poor town that sat a wise man in a hut. And far and wide, seekers would come from the town and go and confront the elderly man. The bravest and smartest of the seekers came to the old man and said, "Wise old man, give me the secrets of the universe." And the wise old man looked at him with a smile and said, "Of course, but you have to give me something in return. I want you to build me a device." He then describes his device, and it sounds almost fictional, but just real enough that it can be found. So the seeker goes far and wide and finds nothing. So in his frustration, he builds device after device, making these fantastical things that would go on and help anyone that would come by. And when he does this, he finally makes the device that the old man asked for. And he goes back to the town. But the old man is gone. The hut is empty. In a moment of despair, he gives all of his fantastical creations away to the village. The village prospers. The village feels good. So he sits down and takes a breath and contemplates what it all means. Until a seeker walks in and asks the old man, "Wise old man, tell me the secrets of the universe." And the old man smiles and looks at the seeker and says, "Of course I will, but you have to give me something first." I hope you all take away from that story what I took away from that story. If you don't want someone to explain it, have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time. But for those that want an explanation, in his quest to find the secrets of the universe, he managed to create his own meaning in life, and, in turn, helped everyone around him. So much so that he became the wise old man at the beginning of the story. This is why Arcaven calls to everyone. We don't want to guide you. We don't want to fix you. What we want is to show you that you can make a change too. You just need to help.
A great way to start helping is to have more nature back. So, to help, I would suggest if you know any local wildflower seeds that are being sold, whether you do have to try to get them from local shops or even Amazon or whatever your seed distributor is, find a patch of bare land to spread them around. Heck, technically speaking, in some places, planting seeds is illegal, so if you feel like doing a crime while helping something, toss seeds everywhere.
We do not endorse crime.
No, but if you're mad at your boss for something, wildflower seeds in their yard is fun.
So, with that, we will bid you all a wonderful moonlit night.
Mm. And we wish you a peaceful night as well.
Take care.
Bye.
Until next time.